You're listening to Plants and Politics with Gina Bonanno Lemos. If you're ready to hear the truth about both sides of the aisle, what's really going on in America, and how big money interests prevent change to keep you sick, broke, and desperate, then play on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Plants and Politics. So I just came across something pretty interesting that I didn't know existed. I'm kind of shocked that I hadn't heard about it before, being that I listen to, not necessarily watch, but listen to so much news on YouTube. But it's called Republican Voters Against Trump. And it's a YouTube channel that's just filled with videos of people who either are or were Republicans who will not be voting for Donald Trump. Most of them say they're going to vote for Joe Biden. So here's my take. Other than the fact that some of them look like hostage videos, I'm just keeping it real, they're pretty interesting for a few reasons. Many of these people say things like, oh, I had no idea that he was like this. I had no idea that, he's such a liar. he's such a bully. Where were you? Where were you people? I mean, I didn't grow up in New York. I grew up on the other side of the country, but I've known who Donald Trump is, and anyone who knew who he was knows that he's been married 3 times, cheated on all 3 of his wives. He has a child from a woman who wasn't his wife. So what part did you not understand about him being a liar? They talk about, I had no idea that he didn't have any integrity or, just wasn't a good person. Really? Really? This is the guy who has taken out how many loans from banks and not paid them back. And then when they go after him, he actually sues them for some bogus reason and gets away with all of this BS. This is the guy who literally stole money from children's cancer charities through his nonprofit with his kids and used it to buy things like portraits of himself and pay off lawsuits. All of this was known. This is the guy who was literally accused of raping and beating a 13-year-old child. Literally raping and beating a 13-year-old child at Epstein's parties, at Jeffrey Epstein's parties. And if you aren't familiar with that, please go back and watch my other or listen to my other podcast or watch it on YouTube, because I break it all down. There's almost 4 dozen women now who have accused him of some form of sexual assault. It boggles the mind. I mean, this is the guy who, along with his father, got hauled into court and lost because it was proven that they were racially discriminating against Black and brown people to prevent them from renting in their apartment buildings. I mean, it was proven in a court of law. They got in trouble for it. It's not like it's even a question. So, yeah, I just don't get it. Now, some of these people, some of these videos are people who didn't vote for him in 2016. They are Republicans, they're conservatives, but they couldn't bring themselves to vote for him in 2016. Many of them couldn't bring themselves to vote for Hillary either. So they just abstained. They just didn't vote at all. So they are voting for Biden this time around. So that is it's a sea change. But then there's another large portion of them who did vote for him. They went for it. They were like, yeah, this is my guy. the guy who discriminated against Black and brown people, the guy who screws over the companies that he's indebted to, the guy who has cheated on every single wife he's ever had, the guy who makes sexual comments, disgusting sexual comments about his own daughter, the guy who admitted to Howard Stern on video or on audio that, you know, he would walk into the dressing room of young girls in the pageant that he owned, and that, you know, that was one of the perks of being the pageant owner. Yeah, that's my guy, the guy who's out there mocking a disabled reporter. Yeah, I don't understand. I really don't understand. I understand wanting to blow up the system. Trust me, I get it. I understand wanting change. I understand wanting to drain the swamp, wanting to get rid of corruption, wanting to get rid of these establishment politicians who just tell you what you want to hear, and then they do the same crap over and over and over again every 4 years. Just same person, different face. I get it. Totally understand that desire. But this guy wasn't even close. All you had to do was look at his history to know. As Dr. Phil always says, the best predictor of future behavior is relevant past behavior. All you had to do was look at his past behavior of lies and deceit. I mean, the guy filed for bankruptcy how many times? Not because he didn't have money, not because he couldn't pay those debts. I mean, this is a guy whose daddy gave him the equivalent of $400 million plus in today's money. And he still couldn't hold it together. So I'm glad these people have had awakenings, but God, and I guess I'm guilty of it too. You know, in the past, I wasn't that plugged in. I wasn't really paying attention to policies and a person's history, and I should have been. And I apologize to everybody for that, because I'm responsible as much as all of these people, right? We're all responsible to really pay attention, to really know who and what we're voting for, because it can't just be a personality contest. That needs to end. We need to stop with this bullshit of, oh, I'd like to have a beer with that person. Okay, first of all, I don't drink beer. I don't like beer. But second, that is not a good barometer. That is not a good way to judge who you want leading the free world. There are plenty of people out there who have great personalities, and guess what? It's because they're full of shit. It's because, like Donald Trump, they know how to read the crowd. They know exactly what to say and how to say it and how to manipulate people. That's how they've gotten ahead in life. You know who you want to vote for? You want to vote for the person who says what they think and feel no matter what. Even if it gets them in trouble, even if it's not that popular. That is a person with integrity. That's a person who, yeah, maybe if you talk to them a little bit and you show them the other side of something and you point out some facts and give them some details and statistics, you can change their mind with actual facts, and open their mind to a new way of thinking. But someone who just goes along with the crowd, someone who just uses natural divisions in the country to divide us even further, to pit us against each other, that is not someone who wants the best for the country. And we need to start thinking of it almost like a parent, right? And I tried to say this to a woman one day. I won't go into the details, but let's just say she got kicked out of the salon. Anyway, we need to ask ourselves, if this was a parent, right? And you have kids, and any parent out there knows if you have kids, they're not always going to get along. They're going to have issues. They're going to have arguments. They're not always going to see eye to eye. And And oftentimes it's up to the parent to step in when it gets too out of hand, when they get too aggressive with each other or they're too at odds. As a parent when that time is, right? When it's time to step up and say, okay, look, you guys need to come to some sort of agreement. You guys need to shake hands. You need to show respect and love for each other, no matter what. You can have disagreements, but we're family. And that's what we need in a leader, and not someone who does it out of, just cynical BS and because that's what they think everybody wants and they don't really care. We need someone who actually cares. But Donald Trump has never been that. So anyway, I recommend that you all check these videos out. They are very interesting, and it is a mix of people from all over the country. So if this is any indication, Trump did not win by a very large margin. And as we all know, he did not win the popular vote. He only won by several thousand votes in specific key swing states that allowed him the electoral victory. So you pick off several thousand in each of those states, and he is toast. And it is looking like that is the case as of right now. New polling numbers came out today. People are really wholly unhappy with the way that he's handled the coronavirus issue. So I believe the unfavorable rate was over 60%. It was something like 64%. Favorable was in the 30s. That is abysmal. That is pathetic. Anyway, guys, check it out when you get a chance. Again, it's Republican voters against Trump. They have quite a few followers already. But again, this is the first time I'm seeing it. So anyway, interesting watching, since no new TV shows can be made right now during the COVID crisis. So as always, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.